Alright, my friends, we're back. Before I do much else, I'm going to do a little reshaping here. Lower back and back leg. It comes out a little too far. Further than I want it. So, let's start with a little mix of green and black. Some vegetation punched in there as well. Have that come up there to about her arm. Still a little too much, I feel. So to about there. And just soften that curve some. And do the same underneath. Get some green in there. And we'll get a little highlight green. Clean that brush a little better before I pick up that green. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna smush a little of that texture out. All right. Okay. For anyone wondering what that noise is, off camera over here, I have a bucket, a couple of cups of water, and that's what I use to clean my brushes. Since I use acrylic, I can use water to clean it. All right, need to add some of that texture off right there where the screen was. Not the screen, but there was some vegetation. Thought I'd paint it over. I need a little more white in there, don't I? That's too dark. We'll just work it right in. Since it's hot, paint on the canvas was still wet. And then kind of scrub it up together there. All right. I think, yeah, let's go ahead. Get a little grass over her foot there, why the heck not? There's the brush I want to use for that though. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do now is get some shadows in her hair. It's a little orange and brown. I'm sorry, that whatever that red tint, orange red. Mix that in the sienna. Add some more of that in there. Shade on the knee right there between those fingers. All right. Yeah, well, get some shade in on that here. Mix some black up here. I'm going to use a smaller brush. You're a little small, I think. There we go. You'll work just fine. Get a little shade here. Separate her. Separate her neck from her chin. That might have been a little too much shade, so let's just get some sienna and go over that. Soften the harshness of those lines out. There we go. I feel like her hair would block most of the light from hitting her neck, so I do need to darken some of that shade over here up, so let's get a little more black in there. Okay. Let's see, I got some texture leaking through this hair over here. I don't want that. What I mean by the texture is not the paint texture, but the canvas texture. Fix that quick. Let's go ahead. Get a little highlight on the hair over here. And a little lower here. I'll put it a little. It's catching a little light down in there. A little more in there, a little there. Okay. I feel like I put her eyebrow in there. Shade on the bottom of her nose. Is that it in here? More shadow there. Clean that brush quick. That is not highlighted enough, so we'll get another real light white highlight color here. There we go. I might even need more white than that. There. That's better. Let's go ahead and get some real deep dark shading in her hair here. Okay, a lot of brown, a little bit of red. Get the base shape of her lips in there. I think I need a little more, straighten the top out a little bit. Okay. Get pretty much some pure black here. Shade in the bottom of the lip over here. Line going across, and of course, we need to make those lips darker in that shaded area. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to punch in. A little highlight on the lower lip there. And even a little highlight, just a lot darker highlight on that side. I want to reshape that lower lip a little bit. Thicken her up just some. I'm just gonna reshape that chin a little bit as well. Make it a little stronger. Need a little more shade. Side of the face under the hair. Alright, now I need to do a little work on our fingers. Over here. I feel like my hand is coming along pretty well, but I do need extend some of that highlights. It shouldn't just be on the fingers. It should be on the rest of the hand as well. You know what else we're gonna do? I have this small brush. Let's just go ahead. Push some of these shrubs out a little bit here as well. Not over the fingers, but around them. Help reshape it. I think while I'm here, I'm going to take a little black just down base of that leg. Black over here. Sharpen up some of these shadows. Just a little more vibrant, I feel, with a little more contrast. I need a little more white in here. I'll do a touch up on the chest quick. I need to clean that brush better first. There we go. Get the white off of there. Let's need a little more CNN there, don't I? There we go. A little more shade at the bottom. What I'm missing here, I just realized. I want to get more highlight. Run it down the nose there a little bit. There we go. white. Then I need some shading over here near here. Okay. Little color at the bottom of those fingers to kind of show where the nails are. I'm just gonna go ahead and fill up some more of that space over here too. That dark, make those fingers look a little less fat. A little more highlight color now for these other fingers around the frog. Okay, a little light just sitting over here in her knuckles. Put a little more of that highlight color. The tips of her fingers. Now I gotta work on that frown. A little dark green mixed with some sienna. It's kind of a nice dark olive tone there. Let's go ahead and thin that up some. Don't need a whole lot of that. They came out a little, both these legs came out a little thick. I'll have to do a little patchwork there to fix that up, which will be easy enough. I don't get down on myself for little mistakes when I'm painting. Just fix them right away. When I see them, of course. There's times you don't. You still shouldn't get down on yourself around it. Get down on yourself about mistakes. Never take the time to fix them. That goes for life too, my friends. Not just art. Alright, I'm gonna get just a little sharp green now. Put a little more color in on these legs. I'm gonna get some yellow that I got over here. Leaving that green on the brush without cleaning it. Get a little color going down the inside of those legs. That counter shading like you see in a lot of frogs. Let's go ahead and get a little more dark green on them in there. Get a little yellow just on the tip. For his eyes. And I want a little yellowish green for the bottom of his head there. Clean our brush off of that. Let's just go right into some yellow. And put a few little yellow spots on his chin there. Kind of make his face, make it look like he's smiling a little bit. This is an old friend of his. Few little highlights on some of this little grassy stuff here. Just add a little more color. Ready. I think now. Ooh, let's see here. I do want a little more definition in a certain little area of her breast, though, even though covered by a semi-translucent piece of fabric. We'll put a little, just put a little more color on it. And then we'll cover most of it up, but it should show through a little better now that I got more color on it. All right, I'm gonna take about a 15-20 minute break here. Let this dry somewhat before we put her semi-translucent gown and then a little more vegetation in here. Through the magic of video editing, won't be any time for you folks at all. Hello friends, welcome back. Alright, might notice this little addition here. All that is a little bit of water. So we can put kind of sheer see-through garment on our figure here. Let's go ahead and start with that. Let's go right here. Get that between his legs there a little bit. Okay. I'm a little bit fallen behind this other leg here. go and have a little bit coming down between the legs as well. Okay. Now we need some sharp lines and textures in there. Just kind of scrunched up or folded over or ribbons or whatever. However you want to put it. Let's get a thinner brush for that though. Got a little loose hair there to pull out. Alright, now I need some of those lines up here. A few lines contoured around certain shapes of her body. Okay. Let's get a little more of that thinned out white. Kind of leave it draped over the forest floor a little bit. I think that'll be enough. Now we just need more shady, where it's not catching as much light. I don't want it quite that gray, that dark. I think that'll work. Oh, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I do need a little darker. There we go. A few more little bit of shade up in here around the, I feel like around the breast we need some, as it would kind of drape off under there. Let's go ahead and get some in here. A little the crease there. A little more up on the shoulder as well. Just kind of fold it over. All right. Take another line of brush here. Just want to make sure I get the right. That one will work just fine. Maybe you won't actually. There. Let's try one of these two. I think this one will work. some of that green on there. I just want to sharpen up this little fella's toes some. And his fingers. He's just chilling. He's not too worried about being held. Get some pupils in there though. Maybe a little shade in a few areas. Give him a little more depth. Make him look a little less two-dimensional. Okay. Alright. I think I want a little more shade right in here. Getting almost no light in that area, so that should be a little darker, I feel. Right along the hair. Okay. Now we can add some more flora and fauna. Let's see. Yeah, this one's in a little better shape. Let's go ahead and get some real dark green. I think I do want that other one. Okay. Now we'll get the regular green. That shadow one. And a little highlight in there. Let's go ahead. Put a little more stuff right around the base of our clothing too. Don't want much for highlight on that because it's in her shadow a little bit, but I do want a little bit. Now I just want some big grades of black. Big grades of grass. How about that? How about using the word you meant to use? Big. I'm gonna put a few. Let's thin that up so it sticks a little better. Lighten that green up just a touch, just to separate it a little bit from our other vegetation. Just get a few little taller fellas in there. Like we can even turn the brush, instead of using it broken like that, turn it sideways. Just to put in a few single blades here and there, and then more of that paint on the bottom. Let's go ahead, get a few of those over here as well. soften that paint up some. Get a few more little touches of color on there, I think. I think this one over here just needs a little yellow on it as well. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of that over there as well. And a little green at the bottom of some of these. Right. Now I'm gonna, let's see, I think you'll work. I'm gonna have some closer tree branches over here. In fact, we can get a palette knife. No, we don't want that yet. We want a brush. Just coming off from the side over here. Yeah, you're not working. It's a little too stiff for what I want. Let's try this guy. You seem a little softer. Okay. Okay. That big fella away. Get some smaller branches in there. All right. Get on black and green mixed up. Brush. Get all these dang brushes that don't want to cooperate. Let's see how this guy works. Okay, that one's working a little better. I just went in the wrong color there, didn't I? That's all right. Before I go any further on the leaves, I'm just going to get a little sienna. Get that on there. Didn't load that right. Let's try that. I just want a little color on that. We might cut in a few little. I even really need to cut in. Just a few little highlights here and there. Just kind of push it on there. Okay. Need more of that green down there, just the green by itself. So it'll be a little brighter than our other green. No, not you. Or you. There's the one I want. Okay. Just I'll punch in a little light green. Just a little here and there, though. Then I am going to mix it with a lot of that yellow for our highlights. Get a little more of that over in here just to get these to match a little better. They may not be the same kind of trees, but I still want the color to tie up. And I do like having a little more contrast in there. Maybe we'll go ahead and just pat in. Bits of that here and there in our grass and shrubs and bushes. Okay. Well, I do believe that is going to do it for this painting. I'm just going to call it Hello Friend. This forest meant them for Faye, or whatever you want to call her. Maybe she's just a kind soul. Found her little friend there, saying hello before setting him down to scamper along his way. And he knows she's not gonna hurt him. And the opposite, she knows that obviously she's in no danger from that little frog. I think I'm just gonna black. That delineation between the black and the rest of her leg was a little strong, so we're gonna put a little blended color on there and then soften that edge. I think that works better. Now, make sure I get all of my brushes into the water so I can clean them later before the paint dries into them. And now, yeah. Now I'm going to call this piece Hello Friend. One more thing. I'm always seeing one more thing. One, this texture of the hand doesn't look very even, so I'm going to fix that up. Then I'm going to get a little bit more shade between those fingers. And I think maybe I'll put a little in here on the frog as well. Alright. Now, before I do anything more and mess it up, I'm going to call it done. I'm just going to call it Hello There Friend. Hope you enjoyed watching me paint. If you were watching to learn something, I hope you did. If you were just watching to relax, I hope that did the trick. We'll be back soon with another painting. You all have a great day and an even better one tomorrow. Goodbye.